Bár beszállnál, ezt a kibaszott ablakot itt rákattintok. Na sziasztok, ismét egy kis újdonság. A Resident Evil helyett most túl a NBA 2K20.
When you start looking at the resumes of head coaches to have won 2/3 of the games you've coached in.
Looking at who's out there now for the Warriors. It was Amundsen who's checked in for Beatrice. And Charlie Bell subbed in for Monte Ellis. Curry,
Come on now, you got to pay better attention than that on a shooter like him. You'll make that 10 times out of 10.
backdoor test.
I almost put the thing
Character inside. Amundsen's there.
Well, he's showing off his defensive instinct by making plays just like that.
Here's Lee. Fishes it down to finish the break.
Tell you what, they were in full attack mode there on that fast break.
I agree with you, Steve. I mean, they got right after it.
There's 48 seconds left to play here in the first. Dishes it to Carricker. And they're on the break. With a finish. Hammers it in after taking it the length of the floor.
Good job there. No hesitation taking the ball right to the rack.
You know what, guys? Always the best plan in that situation.
Let's take a look at the teams that led the NBA in rebounding last season. And third, the Lakers.
That was an impressive campaign for their big men, and I thought the whole team did a really nice job of getting bodies on people and really boxing out.
Here is Bell, and it's Golden State's ball. They're on a 13-4 run. Curry against Fisher. The feed to Amundsen. Tipped. Lee goes to Bell from downtown. A rebound by the Lakers.
This has been a strong statement by them, the way they've come out and attacked the glass early.
Yeah, I agree, Clark. I love the physical play, the fact that they're taking the game right to their opponents. Beautiful play. They're absorbing the contact and going to the free throw line for one.
Boy, I like the concentration he showed there. He knew he was going to get hit but kept his eye on the hoop. Now he has a chance at a three-point play.
Come here, Drago, so take me back.
No good there. He's unable to convert on a three-point play. And here comes the break. 3 seconds left. Ellis, that's good. Ellis has got his third bucket of the night. A free-flowing first quarter. Great scoring through one. The Warriors on top. They lead by 7.
And that first quarter was all about pace, guys, because this club really got out into transition, and that's how they built this lead.
They like to play fast, and they're doing a nice job filling the lane.
Don't go away. We'll see you in a moment.
Coming up this Thursday, Dwight Howard and the Orlando Magic go up against LeBron James and the Miami Heat, live from American Airlines Arena. Make sure to catch it.
Now the second quarter getting ready to start up. Here's Odom.
You know, it was a relatively healthy season for the Warriors last year. I mean, the season prior, when you add up the games players missed with injury, it came out to 501. I mean, that's the most since the NBA started tracking the stat in the mid-'80s.
So with Kobe sitting on the bench, this is the group Mike Brown has right now. Odom plays the 4 with Bynum at the center. Steve Blake is out there with Brown, and it's Barnes at the small forward. The Warriors, a new training staff through most of last season. Steve, do you think that might have had something to do with the team staying healthy?
I don't know. I mean, sometimes you just have bad luck, and sometimes you have good luck. I thought the Warriors, have the right idea with this franchise. They're trying to get bigger on the front line. They're trying to get younger. They're trying to infuse this roster with talent. I think they've got a chance to be pretty good in the next few years.
First one falls for him.
I thought Shannon Brown made so much improvement last season, guys. He scored well, and he worked really hard to improve his weaknesses, which were his ball handling and his outside shooting. So he became much more of a complete player.
And he can't hit the second.
Steve, I agree with you in terms of Shannon Brown's improvement, how hard he worked on those weak areas, handling the ball better, working more on the shot. I mean, the physical gifts were always there. Strong, tremendously athletic. I give him a lot of credit for working to make the most of that natural ability that he had.
Beatrice with the steal, and they're running. Ball kicks to Thornton, and it's blocked. Lakers trail by 8. Here's Bynum, and the layup is good. Bynum's got 6 points.
But you've got to get the ball out of his hands, bring an extra defender, and force somebody else to beat you.
I agree with you. Make him give it up.
Here's Ellis. Right up. And Beatrice with the stuff.
Well, his rebounding is certainly something this team has come to rely on.
Yeah, the fans have come to rely on him for those dunks for sure.
Well, and nobody was disappointed on that play.
And the Lakers have possession. The Warriors making the shot. Blake passes to Barnes. Odom. And here is Blake. Soft touch off the glass.
It's been a little too easy for them inside, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think so, Steve. I mean, they've really dictated the action in the paint. That's been their focus, and the defense hasn't mounted much resistance at all.
Ellis, he's covered by Brown. Here's Wall, guarded by Blake. Clock at 6. Here's Wall. Fades away. And the shot clock expires. 24-second violation. Here's the list of players who had the most steals in the NBA last season. Third is Monte Ellis.
He showed such great defensive instincts last year. Just a terrific defensive play.
And the Warriors with some changes. David Lee checked in for Udo. Bell comes in for Monte Ellis. And Steph Curry is subbed in for AC Law. And then for the Lakers, Pau Gasol is checked in for Odom. Artest comes in for Matt Barnes. And Kobe is subbed in for Steve Blake. Here's Gasol. Real disappointing game for him in that loss to Oklahoma City.
Well, with the Warriors' new ownership group, there's a lot of excitement from these fans who are among the best in the NBA. And you better believe that this ownership group is very passionate about building a winner. And they're going to do everything they can to make it happen.
Here is Bell. Outside Curry. Picked up by Kobe. It's Curry. That time on the assist by Beatrice. 6 points for Steph Curry. I would agree, Steve. You know, there's a new feeling and optimism, a new talent, base, new ownership, and I love their brand new, their new uniforms last season. We've seen that logo before.
And the loyal fans hoping that the new blood will bring greater success. I mean, one of the best fans in the NBA.
Absolutely.
With just one playoff appearance over the last 17 seasons, that won't exactly be the highest benchmark to clear. So they might be able to get back in the mix.
They've got great fans in that Bay Area, some of the best in the NBA. Back to Kobe. Lee with the steal.
They find themselves in a pretty good-sized hole here, and it's mostly because of their sloppy play with the basketball.
Kind of strange. They can't seem to find a grip on the ballpark. They're just giving up a lot of easy plays.
Lakers trail by 11. He kicks to Bynum. He passes to Gasol. Over Lee. And again, no good by the Lakers.
Well, David Lee's production last year with the Warriors, maybe a little step backwards from his years with the Knicks. But, of course, the offense changed. And in New York, he was the centerpiece of that Mike D'Antoni offense and really got more opportunities to score the ball.
And here's a look at what's coming up for the Golden State Warriors. They host the Kings after this game. That'll be the latter half of this two-game homestand.
kérte, amire húzott a játékidőt.
And some changes here for the Warriors. Lewis Amundsen is checked in for Beatrice. Wright comes in for Al Thornton. And it's Ellis in for Charlie Bell. The Lakers also making some changes. Odom comes in for Andrew Bynum. And Derek Fisher is subbed in for Shannon Brown. And what Steve was saying about Lee, you know, Clark, he was still a productive player, but he wasn't the centerpiece of the Warriors. And that could be why maybe his numbers
I
dipped.
agree with you there, Kevin. And there's an adjustment that all players go through when they change teams. It's not just the dynamic of the personnel, it's the role that you have to play within that group. So clearly he deferred a bit to the perimeter guys, to the guards, and understandably so. Going into an offseason, he'll better know exactly how to create his own opportunities and be aggressive to the betterment of the team.
Boy, surprised to see that one stay out.
Me too, Steve. I mean, those are ones that usually go down for sure.
Back to Ellis. Good, and Curry gets the assist. Ellis has got 6 points in the quarter.
Starting to build a head of steam here. He had a good first quarter, but it's been even better here in the second.
Right side Gasol. Outside Odom. Kobe. Got a piece of it.
Well, he saw that kick out coming and really anticipated the play before it happened.
Ez meg. A felborít. Az még egy kap büntető.
That free throw, no good.
Most a bírónak kibaszottul felkész a labdát, mert játékosan nem tudta volna. Ez is idehozott már. Rég odaadhatta volna, hogy döntök. Ennyi idehozott.
Good on the second free throw. Here's Fisher. Right side Gasol. Over Amundsen. Offensive struggles continue, missing again. A dominating first half of basketball, and so far hasn't been close.
What a night so far for Ellis. 12 points, and he's also come up with the steal, adding to their defensive effort.
Yeah, that's not a stat people look at first when they go to the box score, but you can't underestimate the value of good ball hawking defense.
We'll be right back here live from Oakland.
And welcome everyone to this early season edition of HPN Out at Oracle Arena, the Warriors with the lead against the Lakers. With the season just underway, we find them at 500 and focused on improving. Stephen Curry on cruise control in this one against the Lakers. He has 11 points and has set his teammates up with a few timely assists. There's no quit in the Lakers. They came to win. They've gone to their bench for the spark, and it's fired. Big scoring off the pine. Getting it done early, Andrew Bynum. And what a game from Pau Gasol as well. And now, other NBA games in the books from earlier. Let's check them out. At Amway Center, the Magic with a win over the Bobcats ended up running away with it. Excellent game from them. Dwight Howard was their top scorer. And another game also in the books. Philadelphia with a loss to the Raptors at Air Canada Center. They couldn't get anything going, it seemed. Andre Iguodala had the team hot. And here's a look at the other NBA action around the league. Over at US Airways Center, it was the Suns over the Thunder. They ended up just taking that game over. They were in complete control. Their scoring leader, Vince Carter. And with that, we'll wrap things up here in the studio. Thanks so much.
And as we return, a terrific view of the Oracle Arena here in the Bay Area, Oakland, California.
Játszok 5 perc után fél órát várok.
Here's Kobe, still looking to get on the scoreboard.
That was interesting. Once again, late last season for the Lakers, they slumped to close out the regular season. It seems to be a pattern. It's almost like they get bored before they actually get into the postseason.
Monte and Curry in the backcourt. Terrell Wright and David Lee are the forwards. And it's Beatrice in at the 5 spot. That's the Warriors' 5. It's Curry outside. That's good. Curry's got 14. And, Steve, for the Lakers, Lamar Odom said himself those sluggish finishes in the second half were partly born of overconfidence, of ego. I don't know much credence you put in that, Clark. What do you think?
You know what? I think there is a tendency, a human tendency, to become complacent, to become full, and you can lose some of your edge. I don't think it's a lack of humility and respect. I think it's just the nature of being somewhat satisfied. And when you're in this league, because people are coming after you a lot harder when you've got what they want in terms of championships, and especially as you age, I think it gets harder sometimes to fight off that resistance and to flip the switch if you find yourself in a little bit of a rut.
And it's slammed in by Ellis.
As soon as they forced that turnover, they really attacked the rim. I like that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I thought that was the highlight of the sequence.
Here's Fisher. Bynum down low, defended by Beatrice.
No, don't
The shot's good from Bynum. Bynum's got 8 points.
And all 10 of their last points have come inside the paint, so defensively you've got to make an adjustment.
Yeah, you got to do a little more to stop it, too. I mean, it's coming way too easy for them. At some points, you just got to buck up and say it's not going to happen.
Timeout called the Warriors.
And Andrew Bynum, a guy who has been hit with injuries throughout his career. But when he's healthy, the Lakers are so tough to beat because of the length and size of Bynum and Gasol provide for that front line.
Here is the 2K leaderboard with the list of last season's top 3-point shooters. Look at Curry, third in the NBA. He's someone that if you leave him alone, he's going to knock it down.
Now, very deserved spot for him among the league's leading 3-point shooters. He was terrific last season.
And last season, there were a few grumbles, Steve, after Bynum missed the first month and a half of the season. You see, Bynum had delayed surgery after the finals, Clark, so that he could go to the World Cup soccer.
Well, when you're a pro basketball player, that has to be your first priority. I'm a big-time soccer fan myself, but Bynum may have made a boo-boo there.
Yep.
Yeah, but he was ready to go come playoff time, and, that's kind of the Lakers' go-to philosophy. Just be ready when the playoffs show up. And he did play pretty well in the postseason.
And a foul called on the shot. Got him on the way up that time, so he'll shoot 2 right here.
Well, I tell you what, Kevin, Darrell Wright is absolutely in love with his pump fake, but he should be. He's a 3-point shooter, so the pump fake is a useful weapon for him. He uses it often because it continues to work.
Free throw drops for Wright. And Clark, you mentioned Wright's pump fake, and Stevie sells it so well, defenders still leave their feet against it.
Yeah, I like Darrell Wright and the improvement that he's made with that jump shot. And when you can knock down threes like he can, that pump fake becomes an added weapon for sure.
Lewis Amundsen, he's checked in for the Warriors. And that one goes in, 2 from the line that time.
And one of the things you like about the Lakers, their ability to go out on the road and win. In fact, last season, they were 27-14 away from Staples Center.
Lets it go with a 3. That's good on the assist from David Lee. 17 points for Ellis. The Lakers really having a tough go here. And the Lakers, Clark, a smart veteran team, you know that. How much of an asset is that to winning on the road?
You can't overstate it. It's really huge, Kevin. Keeping your composure, staying focused, understanding what's coming and what you need to do to seize games on the road. Some folks call it that killer instinct. But those are the things you have to be able to do, and the Lakers, quite honestly, a terrific example of all of that.
Here's Bynum. Bynum missing again. And it's the Warriors' ball. They've outscored him 10 points to 2 during this run. Straight up. Curry against Fisher. Here's Amundsen. He goes up again. He lays it in.
You can see them taking it strong into the paint over and over again.
Yeah, that really seems to be the strategy, partner. I mean, pound it inside.
So timeout called here, the first for Los Angeles.
When you put the isolated cam on the Warriors, I mean, normally pretty tough in Oracle Arena, even though they haven't been much of a playoff contender, the crowd still shows up and gives them tremendous support.
Different look here for the Warriors. Kiadó's checked in for Lee. Thornton comes in for Darrell Wright. Charlie Bell's checked in for Monte Ellis. And it's AC Law in for Steph Curry. Lamar Odom, he's checked in for the Lakers. Barnes comes in for Ron Artest. Here's Odom. Clark here right out of Warriors last season, 26 up and 15 down at home, an 8-game improvement to the prior year. Steve, not bad.
Not bad at all. That's pretty much a 10-game improvement overall. So the next step for Golden State is to figure out how to win on the road. If they can do that, this is a team that could possibly be in the playoffs next season.
He's against Tomlinson. Count the bucket.
Offensively, just hammering away in the paint.
And that's 10 straight points inside, too.
Now, you know, back to Thornton. And Udo with the stuff.
Old school, old-fashioned, one-hand power jam.
Just like you, Clark, tried and true.
And that's all he needed to do, just taking care of business out there.
Outside Kobe. Open and close and nails it.
He knows his role, he embraces it. He's really a guy that you can go to offensively.
Here's Law. He's covered by Fisher. Puts it up. And the Warriors take on 2 more.
They haven't been as aggressive from outside as they were in the first half. They're playing smart with the lead. I like that. They're being very selective and deliberate in their offense. And that's a good strategy when you're on top.
Kobe dishes to Fisher.
Money
shot. Rebounded by Bell.
Offense
here the Warriors. They're on a 16-6 run. Law kicks to Bell. Guarded now by Lamar Odom. Barnes gets the reach-in call. That is his first foul of the game. Some changes for Golden State. Andres Biedrins is checked in for Amundsen. Wright comes in for Charlie Bell. And it's Ellison for AC Law. And then for the Lakers, Andrew Bynum's checked in for Gasol. Artest comes in for Matt Barnes. And it's Brown in for Kobe. 24 seconds left here in the third quarter. Wright for 3, and the basket good. Wright's got 7 points in the game.
Well, there's a big spread between these teams and how many of their baskets have been assisted on.
Well, you have to give credit to them for how well they've been able to find the open man with that extra pass.
And they're moving it up. Here's Udo. Ball's not loose. And at the end of the third quarter, a huge lead in this one may already have been decided.
What a game for Elvis. He has 17 points. You can throw in a couple of steals for him, too.
Those are some quick hands he's got, guys.
Warriors ahead, just dominating this one.
It's Friday. Danny Granger and the Indiana Pacers go up against Kevin Durant and the Oklahoma City Thunder. The NBA season blasts off. Big time hoops coming your way.
It's time for the fourth quarter and time to check in with the fourth member of our team, Doris Burke, for our Sprite Spark Report. Hi, Doris.
Hi, guys. Well, it was the stretch by the Warriors that garnished the Sprite Spark today. It was lockdown defense in the second quarter that allowed them to build this lead they now enjoy. Another quarter with that kind of defensive intensity will be more than enough to close this game out, Kevin.
Terrific stuff, Doris. Thank you. That was quite a run they had.
Yeah, I tell you what, Kevin, scoring bursts like that often tell the story, really. I mean, it's a no-brainer.
And that's been the case today. I mean, that's what you have to point to, I think, is the defining moment in this ballgame.
So with Kobe sitting on the bench, this is the group Mike Brown has right now. Artest and Powell in the forward slots. Brown out there with Steve Blake, and it's Bynum in at center. Williams outside. The rebound by the Lakers.
Well, they are getting out-rebounded here, and it's showing up on the scoreboard as well.
Yeah, it's something they're going to have to improve upon if they're going to win this game.
Good. Gasol's got the first basket as we get going in the fourth for the Lakers.
Look at the turnover situation, guys, and it's not been that bad. Just a handful, and when you take care of the ball like that, that can help you build a lead.
It's 2-on-1. Rose up and slam. Now the slam cam for the replay.
Yes, indeedy. Boy, I love that one. That's not just any plain dunk. That has some panache to it.
That's an energizer, guys. That is an energizer.
That is, and that will lift the whole team up.
And there's Andrew Bynum on the assist by Blake. 10 points for Bynum. They are enjoying, Steve, a commanding lead.
Well, and it gives them the opportunity to give their starters a rest, which is so critical during this grueling NBA season.
Lynn gets to Utah. He's up against Gasol. Shot clock at 6. Here's Robinson. He's guarded by Bynum. And Bynum pulls it down. And the Lakers have possession. Inside to Gasol. Makes it off the glass. Gasol's got 4 points now in the quarter.
It's a good thing he showed up today, because without him, this team would be in big trouble.
Outside Williams. He dishes it to Udo. Shot off the screen. Hits it off the backboard.
Defensively, remember, you got to fight through screens to avoid giving up open looks.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Steve. And the defense has to go over the top of that screen. I think that's how they get it done.
Easy baskets. That's exactly what they need.
This could get even more out of hand if they continue to put up points.
What an offensive performance it's been.
Here is Lynn, guarded by Blake. A nice shot by Lynn.
Nice soft touch to drop that one in.
Here's Blake. On the wing Brown. He's guarded by Williams. They're moving it around. A baseline J. And Pau Gasol, the bucket on the assist by Brown. 10 points for Pau Gasol.
Finally getting into rhythm here in the game after that cold first half.
Here is Lynn. Williams kicks to Utah. No good. Great D that time from Artest. So it's the Lakers now. So far in the fourth quarter, they've allowed just 6 points. Here's Gasol. Goes up and lays it nice and easy. Gasol's got 10 points here in the second half.
They're doing their best to erase the deficit here with some smart passes and some good shooting. I mean, those two things go hand in hand. If you're going to make shots, then the passes have to be on target and on time.
Blake is tagged with the reach. That is his first foul of the game.
You know, it's interesting, guys, when you look at the players who participated in the World Championships back in 2010. A lot of them carried that momentum over into last season with their respective teams. Guys like Kevin Love, Lamar Odom, Rudy Gay, Chandler, Westbrook. They all helped Team USA win, and then they really moved forward and had great seasons a year ago.
Here's Curry. He's covered by Fisher. Curry passes to Lee. Guarded down by Andrew Bynum. And the jam by David Lee.
Now, this is a done deal here. They've pretty much finished this team off.
Yep, we can put this one in the books. Too much to overcome now.
And the Lakers call time here. They're behind by 25. 1:29 left to play in the final quarter. And the Warriors with a completely new 5 on the floor. 1:29 left in the fourth quarter. And here's Golden State. Williams dishes to Amundsen. They get a hand on it. Out of bounds. And they'll keep possession.
Ez nem a miénk.
Here's Law. To the paint. Udo defended by Gasol. Was shot by Udo, no good. Now, here is our test. They're moving the ball. Shot on the wing. The shot is off. Now Golden State takes it the other way. 58 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Here's Law. Bynum gets called for the reach. That's his first foul of the game, and the bonus will go to the free throw line.
That's just a flat frustration foul right there.
Boy, down like they are, he just took it out on his opponent. I mean, you've got to keep your composure. I don't think that was one of his best moments.
That's good from Law.
Well, the Warriors last season played the Eastern Conference teams to a draw as far as wins and losses. But in the Western Conference, which is obviously deeper, they were just 21-31.
And so he hits both. Well, and for the Warriors, Steve, you talked about that Western Conference record of 21 up and 31 down. A lot of shootouts. But how do they come away victorious?
Well, I think the front office has hit it on the head. I mean, they've said they focused on needing to get longer and stronger. And in the West, you've got to have the bodies to bang with the big boys. So they've got to get not only longer, but stronger, bigger.
Tries again. Pau Gasol again.
Kevin, it's really hard to deny this guy the offensive board if he's got even the slightest position inside. He'll take advantage of any little sliver you give him.
5 seconds separating the shot and game clocks. Udo off target with the bank shot. Here are the Lakers with the ball. Deflects the pass.
That's a wonderful read and react play to pick that pass off.
Williams gets the bucket.
Well, they're just trying to run clock now. I mean, this thing is pretty much over.
Yeah, there's nothing but the result to be determined. So it's time to start thinking about the next game now.
13 feet out. And again, Pau Gasol.
Now, they probably needed more of this earlier, guys. I don't think there's enough time left to get back into the game.
Guys, this is really a case of too little too late, but at least it gives them something to work off of going into the next game.
So we see the Warriors taking the game here. They put on a show tonight, thoroughly controlling each end of the floor.
Hey, what more can you ask?
And that about wraps it up for Clark Kellogg, Steve Kerr, and Doris Burke. This is Kevin Harlan thanking you for watching the NBA, presented by 2K Sports. And now, Jordan presents our player of the game, Monte Ellis.
Back to when they used to shape shift and shift right back. Before I picked up the mic and started writing rhymes, I could alter my form at any given time. Shape, shift, shape, shift, shape, shape, shift, shift, shape, shift, shape, shift, shape, shift, shape, shape, shift, shift, shape, shift. Let me take you back to the start when I first started shape shifting. After class at school, really wanted me kicked in. There was little D running for his life with his heartbeat, bumping inside. Moved into a G up, them cheats couldn't keep up. 60 miles per hour with speed, I was G1, gone straight into my mama's arms. Even tried to move into a car, a bus, trying to go to bar, even break the hitman heart, but my mama couldn't.
Másik az eső. Hát a mentés nem valami gyors benne maga. Hát eddig 2 meccs, 2 vereség. Nem ezt akartam beállítani. Na hát itt kattintok rá, az már. Valaki emleget.
Welcome to NBA basketball. This is 2K Sports bringing it to you live. Friday night in the NBA, it's going to be Pau Gasol and the LA Lakers up against the Phoenix Suns. And that's it for us in the studio. To call all the action, let's go out to Kevin Harlan and the rest of the 2K Sports crew. I'll see you again at halftime.
Ezt is mindenki szeret.
How y'all feel? Cause I feel so awesome. How you feel? I guess that's awesome. You fine and yo, yeah, awesome. Wanna roll awesome. Here we go. Yeah, hands in the skyline. A-W-E. Some call me awesome, some call me busy. Call me awesome, skater on my shirt.
And 2K Sports welcomes you to the NBA with Steve Kerr and Clark Kellogg. This is Kevin Harlan. We're glad you're aboard. Looking at the last game for the Phoenix Suns, it was a win against the Oklahoma City Thunder. And they played brilliant basketball too, guys. A dominant performance.
Well, they were fortunate to be up against a D that looked totally overmatched. I mean, there wasn't much that they couldn't do offensively.
Yeah, they completely had their way with it.
A look here at the Lakers starting group presented by State Farm. Howe and Bynum filling up the middle. Kobe and Artest are the wingmen, and it's Fisher in at point guard. And for Phoenix, Nash at the 1 with Vince Carter at the 2. Hill at the 3 with Stoudemire at the 4. And it's Gortat in at the 5, home in the paint.
That was interesting. Once again, late last season for the Lakers, they slumped to close out the regular season, and it seems to be a pattern. You know, it's almost like they get bored before they actually get into the postseason.
And here is Fry, coming off a stellar performance against Oklahoma City. Fisher against Nash. The shot misses, and it's the Lakers taking it the other way. And, you know, Steve, for the Lakers, Lamar Odom said himself their sluggish finishes in the second half were partly born of overconfidence, of ego. I don't know much credence you put in that, Clark. What do you think?
You know what? I think there is a tendency, a human tendency, to become complacent, to become full, and you can lose some of your edge. I don't think it's a lack of...
And he puts it down with authority. Spike slam Cam for another angle.
Good job there. No hesitation taking the ball right to the rack.
You know what, guys? Always the best plan in that situation.
And the Lakers have possession. 4-point game. And this is their first time matched up with the Suns this season.
Yeah, I think they're a little better than this ball club, and it showed last year winning the season series.
Fires top of the key. And Vince Carter again. Here's Kobe. In the loss to the Warriors the other night, definitely not himself. Steve just mentioned how they won the season series a year ago. That was the way it went against most teams they faced.
True. They were a very hard team to get the best of, Kevin. Don't put few and far between for the big guy, but every once in a while we get one just like that.
It's not hard to believe that kind of size might keep you from being a high flyer.
Yeah, that's a lot of man right there to try to get up off the ground, Kevin.
Gets it to go. Gasol's got his second bucket of the night. Here is Nash. He had an 18-point outing in the last game against Oklahoma City.
I thought Gasol got off to such a fast start last season, but he might have worn down as the season went on. He was asked to play big minutes, especially early when Andrew Bynum was out with the injury.
Jumps up, and that one's good by Gortat. Gortat's got his first 2 points of the night. Here's Kobe. And then, of course, for Pau Gasol in the playoffs, a lot of disappointment with this play, Clark. A game, in fact, or two where he even got booed at the Staples Center.
Yeah, you never like to see that, but he clearly did struggle in the playoffs. And he's extremely gifted, but some have tended to try to question his mental toughness or killer instinct. And I quite honestly think it's unfair. He's got a disposition and demeanor that lends itself to that kind of criticism, but anytime you can perform the way he has, that's impressive. And it actually helps him, the fact that he's got a deferring type of personality, to be an ideal number 2 guy for the Lakers, with Kobe Bryant being the obvious lead dog there. So it's a good fit, I think.
That's interesting. Hill against Artest. Hill passes to Fry. Feeds it to Nash. 6 on the shot clock. Carter with the 3. The offensive rebound.
I like the defense, guys. Really getting a hand up and challenging shots.
Yeah, Steve, lurking on that shot, and that was a tough one.
The shot's good from Bynum.
You give him an opening like that one, he'll take advantage.
Great look in transition that time, guys.
Well, the Suns missed out on the playoffs for only the 4th time in the last 23 years last season. With the team getting older and no outstanding young players, it may be a while before Phoenix returns to prominence.
Lakers trail by 8. Pulls up, high post, and again it's the Lakers.
He shouldn't be afraid to take that shot more often. He's solid from there.
And here we go with Vince Carter. Talking about that win against the Thunder, he was definitely a major factor as well. And first time out of the game called for Phoenix. And, you know, for the Suns, Mark, what do you think is their best path for them right now? Do they bounce back to where they were, you think?
In the short term, Kevin, I'd have to say no. I mean, this team a few years ago had a legitimate chance to win a title. I mean, now the talent level has dropped off. We know you start right there. I mean, you got to have talent to think about a championship, and it's easy to see why the word rebuild kind of floats around. I think that takes time, and that's where the Suns are right now.
And for so long they were looking for a center. Now they got Lopez, they got Gortat, but they don't have anything around it, or at least things that they're really building toward.
It just reminds you of how hard it is to get the pieces together to play at a high level and have a chance to beat for and pursue a championship.
Good with it. And the 3 off target. Outside, Kobe takes it right up. And it's Phoenix with the rebound.
I think he caught a glimpse of the defender out of the corner of his eye because he just seemed to lose his focus there for a moment.
And that one's good. 9 points for Vince Carter. Here's Kobe. 41 seconds left to play in the first quarter. Over Fry. And it's Bynum slamming it down. Here's Nash. Feet out, and it's Phoenix scoring again.
It's been all about ball movement here. Great passing.
Yeah, anytime you've got an unselfish team, the ball will find the open play.
And here's Kobe from the arc. Kobe can't get that one to fall. Got a piece of it, and stolen by Barnes. Pushes up. Kobe with the bucket. Kobe's got 6.
Boy, he just seems to score so easily. The game comes very simply to him.
Up in time, and he beat the buzzer, but it's no good. The offense coming free and easy as we wrap up the first quarter. The Suns on top. They're up by 6.
I was impressed with their transition game, guys. They really got out and ran the lanes.
Yeah, they did. I mean, no better way to get easy buckets than through fast breaks.
It's more NBA coming your way.
The NBA season gathers momentum. The Utah Jazz go up against LeBron James and the Miami Heat next Tuesday, 7:30 Eastern Time.
Get that. That's a good
All right, the second quarter beginning in just a moment.
meg egy visszajátszásra
Here's Kobe.
Well, the Suns missed the playoffs a year ago, and there's a lot of speculation about whether they will begin a rebuilding process. Steve Nash obviously getting up there in years. So the question for Phoenix, do they trade him, do they keep him, do they still try to build around him? One thing's for sure, they need an infusion of young talent.
So with Gasol on the bench, this is the group Mike Brown has right now. Fisher and Kobe man the backcourt. Artest and Odom at the forward slots. And it's Carricker in at the center position. Here's Nash. All good questions to look for answers for, Steve. Certainly the Suns need more young talent. This is a team that was selling first-round picks only a few short seasons ago.
And Kevin, that's rarely a good idea. I mean, even on a stacked veteran team like the Suns, where you look at players like Luol Deng, Rajon Rondo. I mean, those players selected with some of the picks the Suns sold away. Sometimes those moves can come back to make you squirm a little bit.
Yes. Unfortunately, he just has not been able to produce offensively to this point.
He's an up and in off the pretty assist. Nash has got a second basket of the night. Here's Fisher. Back to Odom. Here's Kobe. Hill pulls it in.
How amazing is it, Kevin, to see Grant Hill really enjoying a second prime in his late 30s? I mean, he's been remarkably durable for a player of his age. He's played 80-plus games 3 years in a row now.
Some changes for Phoenix. Channing Fries checked in for the Wall. Carter comes in for Jared Dudley. And it's Brooks in for Steve Nash. And then for the Lakers, Andrew Bynum's checked in for Derek Carricker. Barnes comes in for Ron Artest. And it's Brown in for Kobe. Here's Brooks. He had 22 points in the win against Oklahoma City. Now Carter lets it go from deep. And there's Grant Hill on the assist by Carter. Carter's got 3 assists tonight. Good note there, Clark, on Grant Hill. He's just the third player in NBA history to record 3 seasons of 80 games or more played. Steve, after the age of 36, remarkable.
And especially when you consider the injuries that hit him in the prime of his career, all those foot surgeries. So it's been a real renaissance by Grant Hill. Just an amazing turnaround in his career and a fantastic player and leader for that club. They've got to offer more resistance inside. Just too many easy buckets in the paint.
Yeah, Steve, that's the top priority for any defense. You got to protect the paint.
Here's Bynum. Good from 11 feet out. Bynum's got his 3rd basket of the night.
They are just lighting him up from mid-range area.
You know, sometimes we forget about the value of the mid-range or in-between game. This team has made 8 of their last 10 with that shot, the in-between shot. Well, they are getting out rebounded here, and it's showing up on the scoreboard as well.
Yeah, it's something they're going to have to improve upon if they're going to win this game.
And the Suns call time here.
Well, I'll tell you what, guys, Derek Fisher has had a lot on his plate the last couple of years. He's the president of the NBA Players Association. Not only was he trying to lead his team to a championship, but he's been trying to fix these labor issues as well.
Let's talk about Derek Fisher. What a profession.
Kevin, this guy basically made the most of his natural abilities. I mean, never a premier athlete, always in great shape, though, always plays hard, plays smart. And he seems to be able to knock down big threes at the most important times. He's done that throughout his career and goes back to when he and Kobe joined the Lakers as rookies.
Yeah, absolutely.
Spent a lot of time riding the bus together in the gym before and after practice, and he just worked, and now he's got multiple rings.
They both, he and Kobe both have won the 5 rings. Yeah, they really hooked at the hip. Right?
That's right.
Lakers trail by 7. Barnes kicks to Artest. Goes up. Drops in the layup for 2. Artest's got 4 points now in the quarter.
You know, if their plan was to keep going inside a ton, it sure has paid off. I mean, it seems like every bucket they get is in the lane.
Well, no reason to take an outside shot if you're scoring at will from inside the paint.
Carter for 3. And again, it's the Suns missing.
Really good offensive execution. Nice pick, just couldn't get the shot to go.
Well, you love to see that as a basketball purist. Guy setting a good screen, and then getting the shot opportunity.
And they're making this a game here, putting together a nice run.
Making it a game. How about anybody's game? I mean, they've caught fire, and it's a toss-up right now, guys. Well, you know, a recent stat said that in the last 15 years, the Lakers are on average the best offense in the NBA. But in crunch time, ironically, they fall to around 12th best offensively. Not nearly as effective.
So for the Suns, Gortat's checked in for Lopez. Luol comes in for Channing Frye. And it's Hill in for Vince Carter. .106 left to play here in the half. Now here's Brooks, guarded by Blake. Down to 5 on the shot clock. Beatrice with a screen on Artest. Hill, no good. Clock going back to the Lakers, and they're let down as far as crunch time offense goes. Good point by you. Steve, you take it now. Why do you think that's so?
I think Kobe's not the player that he once was, Kevin. I mean, he's not as athletic. He's not as capable as he used to be getting shots off against any type of defense. And I think the rest of the guys maybe lost a little confidence in themselves as a result.
And the Suns call time.
Matt Barnes is one of those guys you call an irritant. I mean, he bothers his opponent by really getting into his body, maybe throwing a cheap shot or two along the way, but plays with a ton of passion, just plays hard.
And the Lakers making a change here. Gasol's checked in. Here's Brooks, looking for his first bucket of the game. You know, for Barnes, really a tough, aggressive player. Clark, he doesn't back down from anybody.
Not at all. You're going to know he's out there when you're on the court with him. He battles for every read. He's an excellent rebounder for a guy of his size, and gives you an awful lot of hustle and the edge that winning teams usually have.
Brown, good.
And a big run gives them the lead.
This is great basketball to watch. When the offense and defense are clicking and feeding off one another the way they are, beautiful.
Brooks outside. Over Blake. Brooks with the bucket. And the Suns lead by 1. Here's Blake. Pass to Odom. Knocked away. 2K Sports. Back in a moment here from the U.S. Airways Center.
Nothing can beat the NBA on a Friday night, except for maybe a Saturday night. We'll get to that tomorrow. Right now, it's time for the HP Halftime Report. For the Phoenix Suns, they have the lead against the Lakers. They're keeping the ball hopping around, racking up those assists. Vince Carter continues his dominant play following the win against the Thunder in Oklahoma City. He's got 9 points and a few steals too, staying active on the defensive end of the floor. It's also been a strong start for the Lakers. A dominant offensive display through 2 quarters. They're scoring efficiently. Their top scorer, Kobe Bryant. He's got 6 points, also added a couple of rebounds. And now a look in on other games from the NBA as we go around the league. At Time Warner Cable Arena, the Bobcats with the win over the Bucks. With that game in the books, they split their last 2 outings. Corey Maggette led the team in points. And another game also in the books. Out in Philadelphia, it was the 76ers losing to the Timberwolves. They'll look to improve next time out. They fall by 5. Thaddeus Young was their top scorer. And a look now at the rest of the action from around the NBA. Out in Oakland, the Warriors are ahead against the Kings. They're in the 4th, and it looks like they'll be popping this one into cruise control. And that's it for now. Let's head on back out to the 3rd quarter. Enjoy the rest of the game.
And now the start of the second half. Neither side jumping out ahead through the first 2 quarters. Here's Kobe.
Guys, you know, the Suns didn't make the playoffs last season, but they were still the second best team in the somewhat depleted and weaker Pacific Division.
Hill at the 3 with Stoudemire at the 4. Nash at the 1 with Vince Carter at the 2. And it's Gortat in at the 5 down low. That's Alvin Gentry's 5 as we get into the second half. Well, Clark, how about this? You mentioned the Pacific. It was the only division with just one playoff team, the Lakers. That's amazing.
Yeah, that is. That hadn't even registered with it.
Steve, you studied the Pacific closely.
Well, the Suns were 9-7 in the division last year, but that's going to get tougher. Clippers on the rise. Golden State appears to be getting better. Sacramento with a lot of young talent. So I would expect the Pacific Division to get stronger this year.
Here's Hill. Busts the J after the KG pass fake. Hill's got 8 points.
I tell you what, right now that mid-range jumper serving them well.
Yes, it is, guys. That's 6 of their last 10 points coming from that mid-range area.
Clark, third quarter here, and 5 lead changes so far.
Yeah, it's really been a bit of a tug of war. Back and forth we go.
Yeah, both teams playing well. Neither club able to pull away. And one of the things you like about the Lakers, their ability to go out on the road and win. In fact, last season, they were 27-14 away from Staples Center.
Here's Fisher. Now here's Kobe. Gets it to fall. And it's a 3-point Laker lead. And the Lakers, Clark, a smart veteran team, we know that. How much of an asset is that to winning on the road?
You can't overstate it. I mean, it's really huge, Kevin. Keeping your composure, staying focused, understanding what's coming and what you need to do to seize games on the road. Some folks call it that killer instinct. And those are the things you have to be able to do, and the Lakers, quite honestly, a terrific example of all of that.
Timeout call, the Suns.
You know, you take a look at the Suns and the Lakers, historically, the two powerhouses in the Pacific Division. They faced off in the playoffs a dozen times over the years. The Lakers have taken 8 of those series, the Suns 4.
Luke Walton's checked in for the Lakers. Here's Hill, the pass to Nash. Vince Carter on the wing, guarded by Kobe. From the baseline, Fry, good. Fry has got his second bucket of the night. Good overview right there, Clark, about that. The last 2 playoff series between the Suns and Lakers, both nail-biters, though. In 2007, the Suns came back from down 3-1, Steve, to win the series.
Yeah, in 2010 in the Western Conference Finals, remember the Suns were right there in Game 5, poised to take a 3-2 series lead going home. But Ron Artest made that amazing putback that led the Lakers to victory. And LA went on to win the series in 6 and the championship that season.
That one is off.
Kobe Bryant now in his 16th season in what has been one of the great careers in NBA history. He's battling age now, but still a very, very productive player.
And he misses the second one as well, so he is 0 for 2 that time. And Steve, you know, for Kobe Bryant, as you said, battling age. He's 33 right now going into this season. Wear and tear, a part of the game. He's played so many minutes. Preseason, regular season, all those playoffs, Clark. He said his kneecap is almost bone on bone. He's got an arthritic right index finger on his shooting hand. He continues on. The guy's tough.
And the battle scars of a long, successful career. And he takes pride in that, but he also recognizes the reality of it. And most of the time, you don't find out about those health issues. That's, again, a part of his desire to, once he gets between the lines, to focus 100% on the task at hand, not wanting to make excuses. And with his talent and his resume, he never needs to.
No, you're exactly right. He's off on the first.
Well, the Lakers had another good regular season a year ago, and they were tough against the Western Conference opponents. They went 36-16 in their conference.
And the Suns making a change here. Lopez is checked in. And he can't hit the second. And plenty of tough teams in the West and Steve in the East, like you were talking about, but really, Clark, when you canvas the landscape of the NBA, none tougher than the Lakers.
Well, you know, they've got that confidence-building championship hardware that you can't ever overestimate. They don't fear anybody, and Actually, if anything, they've been known to look past the team now and again, but in the Western Conference, you better be ready to play each and every time you tie those shoes up.
And that one falls for Nash.
Well, you had to wonder if the Suns would move Nash, as has been the talk the last few years, in order to start the rebuilding process, but I think he's a guy that you just hold on to as long as he's producing the way he is.
And so Nash nails both of them. Clark, you're right. He's a fixture. You mentioned trading Nash, even though the Suns are in certainly a transitional phase right now. Steve, you know about the Suns as much as anybody. You led him in the front office for those years. He means so much to that franchise.
I can't imagine the Suns trading him, Kevin, because he's the identity of the team. I mean, that's who he is, and the fans who come to the arena, even though they know they're not watching a championship team anymore, they're still watching one of the most creative point guards ever to play this game. So he makes it worth the price of admission.
And the Lakers making a change here. Odom's checked in. Here's Odom. Still looking to get on the scoreboard. Looking to end the run. And the layup is good. Here's Nash. A 2-point game. Here's Hill. And Gasol. Here's Fisher. We've got 1:48 left in the third. Carter against Kobe. Money on the 10-footer. Kobe's got 8 points in the quarter.
Oh, a nice little trend developing here, fellas. I mean, that's 8 of their last 10 from inside the paint.
Yeah, they're getting high percentage looks down there. Their offense is really clicking. I don't see why they wouldn't just continue to pound the ball inside.
Out of bounds. And they retain possession. Let's take a moment to look at the 2K leaderboard and see last year's high-scoring teams. Fourth, the Suns.
I just loved how this team attacked their opponents. I mean, you could see their confidence growing as they continue to put up points on the board.
Phoenix making some changes. Gortat's checked in for Lopez. Dudley comes in for Channing Frye. And Petrus subbed in for Grant Hill. 1:24 left in the third quarter of the game. It's stolen by Odom.
Well, that's an empty possession when you're that loose with the basketball.
Here's Kobe. And that one goes in as he is fouled. It'll be 3 points if he converts at the line.
Kobe Bryant is one of those select few first-name basis superstars in the NBA. Larry, Michael, and of course Kobe, Magic. Those guys are famous by one name only.
The free throw drops for Kobe. Steve, you know, Kobe, of course, the man in the entertainment capital of Los Angeles. He's taken the attention in stride. I think he feeds off it a little bit. You know, it's kind of a special psyche to play in that kind of environment.
Yeah, and he's handled it really well. I mean, for a guy who spends so much time in the public eye, it seems as though he's always been motivated more by winning than the adoration. And I think that's why he has such great respect from his teammates. And another reason why the Lakers have been so successful since he's been there.
Clock management. This is where, Steve, they can get a 2-for-1.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. As long as the first one's a good one, and now you play D, you get the ball back, one more shot.
Here's a look at the schedule for the Los Angeles Lakers. Following this one, they get to host the Hornets. That game will be a quick pit stop before hitting the road again.
Well, I thought last season was a tough one for Ron Artest. I mean, he struggled with the shot. Even his defense was a little subpar and not as consistent as we've seen in the past.
That free throw missing. And Clark, for our test last season as he struggled, some of the coaches' critiques played out in the media. Steve, I don't think Ron appreciated that very much.
No, there was even a rumor that he might have wanted to trade prior to the All-Star break, but Fortunately for LA and for Artest, he started to play much better after the All-Star break. He got more consistent and finished strong. And, he's still a guy who can help the Lakers just with his physical play and his toughness.
Out to Nash. Outside Carter. Good, and the assist goes to Nash. Nash has got 4 assists in the game. Here's Kobe. 17 points in the game. From deep. Sinks it. What range from outside. Wow. Kobe's got 14 points now in the second half. The Suns trailing.
Looks like they're going to hold on to the ball and go for the last shot of the quarter.
Well, clearly this is the time to do it.
Nash outside. Over Bynum. Nash with the bucket. Nash has got 8 points. And not even 3/4 out of the way. So many lead changes.
One heck of a game. I mean, guys, this has been outstanding in terms of the effort that both sides have been able to put on.
Looking over there at Steve, he's enjoying every second of it.
Yes, me too. Yeah. This has been great, guys. The fans getting their money's worth here. Both teams just playing so hard out there.
And at the close of the third quarter, still a close game, and both teams putting up points in a hurry. Look at Vince Carter in this game. I mean, he's been everywhere.
Now, it's been nothing but positive for this team. The way he's been really selective with his shot making. He's been very unselfish. I think this has been an efficient performance for him.
I agree with you, Steve. Very few questionable decisions, if any, from him, as he has always looked for the best shot every trip down the floor. I mean, I like the fact that he's judicious in his approach.
We'll be right back from Phoenix.
Next Wednesday, Manu Ginobili and the San Antonio Spurs take on Kobe Bryant and the LA Lakers. The NBA season blasts off. Don't miss out.
A Spursnak addig a nagy vereség, nekünk meg 2 vereséget cserél.
As the fourth quarter gets rolling here, let's check out our Sprite Spark of the Game, presented by Sprite. Hey, Doris.
Hi, guys. Well, it was the stretch by the Suns that garners the Sprite Spark today. The changing point in this game was when they got hot in the third quarter and opened things up. They'll look to keep that level of play as we head into the final period.
Terrific stuff, Doris. Thank you. That was quite a run they had, Clark.
Yeah, I tell you what, Kevin, scoring bursts like that often tell the story, really. I mean, it's a no-brainer.
And that's been the case today. I mean, that's what you'd have to point to, I think, is the defining moment of this ball game.
So with Kobe sitting on the bench, this is the group Mike Brown has right now. Derek Carricker is out there with Andrew Bynum. Then it's Brown. Then there's Artest. And it's Fisher in at the point. Shot's good. Artest's got the first basket as we get going in the fourth for the Lakers. Brooks outside. He kicks it to Gortat. And it's sent back by Bynum. The Lakers in the lead. They're moving on after the tough loss they took at the hands of the Warriors.
I thought they'd come out a little sharper in the second half, but it really didn't happen. I mean, they started out slow and they finished slow.
Well, Steve, I guess there's one thing we can say is that they were consistent, just not in the way you want to be consistent.
And there's the basket. Whistle blows and a chance for a three-point play. Going to the line for one.
Mit tette, csak meg mi?
Shooting in Phoenix. Marcin Gortat. Shooting in one.
Annyira dar lefele, mint hogyha ahhoz az ennyi, akit irányítok ott van.
That free throw good from Gortat.
Gortat was a really nice pickup for the Suns. He was a backup to Dwight Howard in Orlando. Never really got the minutes that he deserved. And the Suns gave him that opportunity, and he made the most of it.
Time running low, guys, and somebody has got to win this one.
You know, quite honestly, Kevin and Steve, I mean, this game, as close as it's been, you really hate to see it come to an end.
I agree.
Well, then let's root for overtime. Why not?
Friday, good. And Gorton has really given the Suns that presence they so desperately needed in the paint. He's been just what the doctor ordered for the Phoenix ball club.
Well, I love his size. He's got a big body. He's active. He's an excellent offensive rebounder, Kevin. And he's not a bad finisher around the rim. So he's shown that he's a starting caliber center, although I think his best role is maybe as a reserve. I just think he brings that element that's special when you're of his talent and you can come off the bench.
Works out the former backup to Dwight Howard over in Orlando before the trade to Phoenix. Jared Dudley's checked in for Phoenix. Carter comes in for Josh Childress. A moment to check in with Doris Burke. Doris?
Yes, Kevin, Mike Brown was just going over the plan with his team. He talked about their problems at the free throw line, but tried not to make too big a deal out of it. He said, listen, if we keep getting to the line, the ball will start going through the net. The important thing is, keep getting there. Maybe that'll take a little pressure off him, guys.
Dudley's shot is good.
Just zipping the ball around the perimeter. Good advantage for them in terms of points off assists.
Well, they say coaches always talk about how defenses can't keep up with the fast-moving ball, and attacking with the pass makes you much harder to defend.
Here's Kobe. Again, the miss by Kobe.
Boy, he should have made that one. He had plenty of cushion between himself and the defender.
Here's Carter. That drops and it comes off an assist from Brooks. And it's a 7-point Suns lead. Here's Kobe. To end the run. And there's the whistle on the shot. Took the foul. Shot misses. He'll be shooting two. And Phoenix gets called for the foul.
Well, just take a look at what Kobe's done tonight. He has 20 points, and he's been able to hit the three ball, picking up one from deep so far.
Well, the three-point shot has become so important in today's NBA game, and teams are shooting more and more of them. When you can knock them down, it really puts pressure on that defense.
He misses the free throw.
Now, even though they're down, I like their mentality. Work it inside and try to create some contact down low.
I like it as well. I mean, you just can't assume that you can shoot your way back into it when you're down. You got to grind it out. And part of that is getting the ball inside.
That's off as well. So he misses both.
Of course, he didn't have an attempt there in the first half. He's hoping to be a little bit more active and aggressive here and draw some fouls here in the second.
And stolen by Fisher. Brown kicks to Kobe. Drainhill covering. Oh, it's blocked. Clark poured some crack if they want to.
Yeah, maybe buy a little oxygen while they're doing it.
Continue to build on this lead.
Yeah, they're trying to get a little more separation, Steve, and they actually have a chance to do it the way they're making plays at both ends.
Right side, Odom. Fisher dishes to Kobe. Will it go? That's good. And the assist goes to Fisher. Fisher's got his third assist on the night. Timeout call, the Suns. They lead by 7. We've got 1:55 left in the game. So for the Suns, Gortat has come in for Jared Dudley. And it's Nash in for Aaron Brooks. Devin Ebanks, he's checked in for the Lakers. Artest comes in for Derek Fisher. We've got 1:55 left in the fourth quarter. He goes up, and that one's good by Gortat. And the Suns lead by 9.
Oh, I like that he's come up with some big baskets for this team to help him out in getting this lead.
And the Lakers call time here. They're losing by 9. 1:49 left to play in the final quarter. Pau Gasol is checked in for the Lakers. Fisher comes in for Kobe. Here's Fisher. Brown right side. Open look. And it's Phoenix with the rebound.
Oh, man, I am absolutely loving this. They're pumping bodies down there, taking no prisoners, coming away with every board.
Yeah, that willingness to fight for every loose ball is a big reason why they have the lead right now, Clark. And yeah, they're moving the ball now. 8 of their last 10 points coming off assisted buckets.
Steve, nothing makes a coach smile as much as pure, selfless teamwork.
Pedig keringek ugye fél arányban alatt lehet.
There's 1:17 left in the fourth. Nash against Brown. Brown against Nash. Brown gets the reach-in call. That's his first foul. Here's Nash. The feed now to front. Pocket 6. Here's Gordon. Jams it straight down.
And that ought to do it. That should seal the deal.
Yep, I agree. Closing it out with relish.
55 seconds left in the fourth quarter of this one. Fisher, the pass to Gasol. Gortat covering. Gasol's shot is good.
You know, for a guy like him who can light it up like that, that's too easy.
Nash outside. Dishes it to Gortat. Carter outside. Nash hits to Gortat. Good, and the assist goes to Nash. And the Suns lead by 11.
Looks like it's over. A double-digit margin, clock running down. Just take care of the ball now.
Yes, it's a simple equation. This one's over. Use the clock and take care of the owner.
And the Lakers call time here. They trail by 11. 26 seconds left in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, but I think that's good.
Here's Odom, and the officials signal the backcourt violation. Not very there. Phoenix ball.
Nem láttam kibaszott oda, hogy hol van a játékos.
Here's Nash. He's covered by Brown. Artest against Carter. Takes it to Fry. Back to Carter. Oh, off target. It could go. Artest off the mark. So it's the Suns winning easily here. You know, Clark, every team has a bad night, and these guys might want to watch the tape of this game the next time they have a bad night to remind themselves how dominant they can be.
Well, this is one of those dreamlike games for a coach.
And that'll do it for Clark Kellogg, Steve Kerr, and Doris Burke. This is Kevin Harlan. Thanks for watching this presentation of the NBA on 2K Sports. And now we present the Jordan Player of the Game, Vince Carter.
Right back, driven off the light rack. My adrenaline is where the waters of the lights at. I'm a middleman, so all the homies that they might lack. Got them listening and their responses with the hype tracks. They believe us out of ignorance, and I can recall us as being what they obviously wanted, but probably lost us. Used to hide the trophies, but it's too many to keep straight. Now let the streamers hang and let them see the way. The 23rd letters accumulate. You can say that I can fall back to the 12th, just never knew mistakes.
Talán belkezdni. Nem valami gyorsan ment. Én nem is szívemtelen. Eddig még csak mindig kikaptam.
Welcome to NBA basketball. I'm Damon Bruce. And we've got you covered here on 2K Sports. Sunday night in the NBA. It's going to be the New Orleans Hornets up against the Los Angeles Lakers. And now to bring you all...
Catch me in my Mercedes, over red stripes, baby, screaming shady till I die. I got half a paradise, life's crazy, so I live it till the fullest, totals crazy. And you know you live it bonus. I'm thinking about this nice place, later, wait, don't stop me now, boy. Living life in the fast lane, at the speed of life, and I can't slow down. Only got a gallon in the gas tank, almost at the finish line, so I can't stop now.
Valahol biztos kellett kapcsolni.
Thank you for tuning in this Sunday evening. Kevin Harlan here, along with Clark and Steve. We're always glad to see you. Thanks for joining us. It's a rematch of the first-round battle between last year's playoff contestants, the New Orleans Hornets, and the Los Angeles Lakers. The Lakers took care of New Orleans in 6. And the starting lineup for the Hornets, brought to you by State Farm. Ariza is the 3 with Weston Okafor rounding out the front court. Chris Paul is out there with Willie Green. And for the Lakers, Fisher and Kobe man the backcourt. Howe and Bynum filling up the middle. And it's Artest and it's the threesome.
Well, you know, a recent stat said that in the last 15 years, the Lakers are on average the best offense in the NBA. But in crunch time, ironically, they fall to around 12th best offensively. Not nearly as effective.
So the Hornets win the tip.
No. Sikerült.
West with the ball. The open shot, Paul. Not wasting any time in taking the shot and knocking it down. Going back to the Lakers and their letdown as far as crunch time offense goes. Good point by you. Steve, you take it now. Why do you think that's so?
Well, I think Kobe's not the player that he once was, Kevin. He's not as athletic. He's not as capable as he used to be getting shots off against any type of defense. And I think the rest of the guys maybe lost a little confidence in themselves as a result.
Here's Paul. After the made shot from Andrew Bynum. Ariza kicks to Okafor. Paul. Shot clock at 6. He's covered by Fisher. Chris Paul again. Paul's got his second basket of the night.
You know, for a guy like him, who can light it up like that, that's too easy.
We'll go to Doris Burke, who spoke with head coach Monty Williams.
This is the first time they'll be taking on the Lakers this season, and he insisted they were up to the challenge. He said, first and foremost, when you're facing the Lakers, you have to deal with Kobe and Gasol. But he feels that they match up very well in those two spots, which gives them an edge that very few teams have against LA.
Always great to hear from you, Doris.
Well, not much of a job there protecting the rim. I mean, poor.
Well, he just pretty much opened the door for him.
Yeah, he didn't waste the opportunity, did he? Boy, he just seems to score so easily. The game comes very simply to him. Now Kobe Bryant still chasing that 6th ring. If he ends up getting it, he would tie Michael Jordan. And of course, Michael was always a tremendous inspiration for Kobe Bryant.
Now here's Paul. 17 points for him last game against Sacramento. That's good. Ariza's got his first points of the night.
Crashing the offensive glass is such a big part of this game, and it's going to pay off for him.
Stevie mentioned Kobe's still working toward those 6 rings. He's got 5 right now. But Kobe said, Clark, that, tying Jordan wasn't his motivation.
Do you believe that?
Well, I do think he wanted to help Phil Jackson go out on the right way. And that, of course, didn't work out.
Yeah, it did not work out. But I think it was a combination of factors. One, he obviously wants to do it because he wants to do it. But I don't think the Jordan piece is out of the equation and being one of the inspiring factors for trying to grab that 6th one. And, I mean, quite honestly, he's shown that he wants to try to win it every year.
Well, he's always compared to Jordan. Why wouldn't that just be a natural feeling?
Right.
That falling.
No. Kevin Porter just pulling his fade away there. I mean, that's one way to beat some tight defense.
Here's Paul. He has 6. High post try. Second shot opportunity. And West backs in. Persistence pays off as they finally hit a shot.
Looked like they found the soft spot in the defense there.
Lakers trail by 7.
Well, the strength of this Hornets team obviously has been Chris Paul. But last year there was kind of a rotating door on the wings. James Posey to Trevor Ariza, Marcus Thornton to Bellinelli. And he couldn't seem to ever find the answer out there.
Now here's Paul. Following the miss by Kobe Bryant over Gasol. Another shot. Here's Okafor. And it's good. Fought through contact. Gets the shot. He'll go to the free throw line.
Egyet még dobhat Baumosnak, hát most terelmez. Megint szaladhatok.
And the Lakers with some changes. Lamar Odom, he's checked in for Bynum. And Matt Barnes is subbed in for Ron Artest.
Sietnek, de az ideúzás, amit nem csinálják.
No good there. He's unable to convert on the three-point play. And that instability, Clark, on the wing can't help New Orleans.
No, I can't. I mean, Trevor Ariza, I think, is a pretty good answer there, but they do need to add one more big-time scorer out there at that wing position to pair with the rest of the personnel they have. I think that would be a big boost.
Here's Jack. He's covered by Fisher. They get it back. Now Jack. Last game we saw him score 13. The second chance effort. Odom grabs the ball.
Tough miss. I mean, not much defense. He had a really good look at the hoop.
Don't mind that. Don't mind that.
Kobe Bryant now in his 16th season in what has been one of the great careers in NBA history. He's battling age now, but still a very, very productive player.
That free throw missing.
De az meg hosszú nyomom, rövidet dob, vagy mi? Hogy van faszomban van ez? De említem ezt a büntetőt. Most nem adhatta oda a játékosnak? Ezt ekkora.
He's off on the second. The Hornets leading by 7. And here is Jack. And stolen by Barnes.
That's a horrible decision. You got to be more patient with the ball.
Fisher buries the jumper to finish the break. Fisher's got his first basket of the night. And here are the Hornets leading by 5. And Steve, for Kobe Bryant, as you said, battling age. He's 33 right now going into this season. Wear and tear, part of the game. He's played so many minutes. Preseason, regular season, all those playoffs, Clark. He said his kneecap is almost bone on bone. He's got an arthritic right index finger on his shooting hand. It continues on. The guy's tough.
Yeah, the battle scars of a long, successful career. And he takes pride in that, but he also recognizes the reality of it. And most of the time, you don't find out about those health issues. That's, again, a part of his desire to, once he gets between the lines, to focus 100% on the task at hand, not wanting to make excuses. And with his talent and his resume, he never needs to.
Nope, you're exactly right. And a high-scoring first quarter. Both teams really filling it up. Hornets lead by 3.
Well, the thing they tried to establish right away was the presence down low. You look at the points in the paint. I think that's been the difference.
Yeah, and I like the fact, Steve, that they're not settling for the outside shots. I mean, go in there and get what you want. Keep attacking the rim.
And we'll get back to the action right after this.
Coming up this Friday, the Utah Jazz take on Josh Smith and the Atlanta Hawks. The NBA season gains momentum. Big-time hoops coming your way.
And we got a close game here as we get back to the second quarter.
második.
Here's Kobe. He's coming off a 22-point game against Phoenix.
Well, it was a good bounce-back year for the Hornets a season ago, making the playoffs and finishing in the 7th spot in the West, but they did not play particularly well away from home, finishing under 500.
And now, brought to you by Gatorade, all fueled up and ready to go. Let's reset our lineups. So for New Orleans right now, Carl Landry is out there with West. Then there's Willie Green. Then there's Quincy Pondexter. And it's Paul in at the point guard position. From 20 feet out, and he connects with the jumper. And Clark, back to the Hornets, which Steve was just talking about, win a few more games on the road. Maybe they don't have to see a team like the Lakers in the first round. And he flushes it through. Blake Slamcam with the replay.
Yeah, is there anybody in the building that didn't appreciate that throwdown?
Well, Steve, that's as fancy a finish as you could possibly get.
A serious degree of difficulty on that one.
Guarded by Blake. And West backs in. Outside, Green. Picked up by Kobe. Bryant gets the reach-in call. That'll be his second foul of the game.
Well, we'll see what happens here. You got to be aware that's your second foul. The question is, do you keep him on the floor or not?
Here's what the Lakers are going with right now. Pau Gasol is checked in for Odo. Brown comes in for Kobe. And Derek Fisher is subbed in for Steve Blake. The Hornets also changing it up. Emeka Okafor, he's checked in for Landry. Visa comes in for Quincy Pondexter. And it's Bellinelli in for Willie Green. Here's Ariza. Misses the three.
And Andrew Bynum, a guy who has been hit with injuries throughout his career. But when he's healthy, the Lakers are so tough to beat because of the length and size that Bynum and Gasol provide for that front line.
Here's Paul. He's got 6. He's covered by Fisher. Now here's Paul. And West backs in. Just 5 to shoot. Ariza kicks to Bellinelli. They get the rebound.
Boy, that's a surprising miss right there. He usually feasts on those wide open opportunities.
Pull-up jumper. And there's Gasol. That's good on the assist from Andrew Bynum. And now it's a 3-point Laker lead. Here are the Hornets with the ball. They trail by 3. And last season, there were a few grumbles, Steve, after Bynum missed the first month and a half of the season. You see, Bynum had delayed surgery after the finals, so that he could go to the World Cup soccer.
Well, when you're a pro basketball player, that has to be your first priority. I'm a big-time soccer fan myself, but Bynum may have made a boo-boo there.
Yep.
Yeah, but he was ready to go come playoff time. And, that's kind of the Lakers' go-to philosophy. Just be ready when the playoffs show up. And he did play pretty well in the postseason.
So timeout called here, the first for Los Angeles.
Well, the Lakers had another good regular season a year ago, and they were tough against the Western Conference opponents. They were 36-16 in their conference.
Lamar is checked in for the Lakers. Kobe comes in for Shannon Brown. And then for New Orleans, Carl Landry's checked in for Okafor. Pondexter comes in for Trevor Ariza. And Willie Green is subbed in for Bellinelli. Here's Odom, looking for his first bucket of the game. Plenty of tough teams in the West and Steve in the East, like you were talking about. But really, Clark, when you canvass the landscape of the NBA, none tougher than the Lakers.
Well, they've got that confidence-building championship hardware that you can't ever overestimate. They don't fear anybody, and actually, if anything, they've been known to look past the team now and again. But in the Western Conference, you better be ready to play each and every time you tie those shoes.
Pulls from the top of the key, and the jumper falls for him. 8 points for Chris Paul.
Well, they've done a lot of their damage from mid-range here, guys. I mean, knocking down those shots with regularity.
Yeah, how about 8 of their last 10 points, guys, coming off that mid-range area jump shot. So, shows you don't have to be at the rim to score.
The Lakers in the lead. After this one, they're off to Sacramento to take on the Kings. That will be a getaway game for them, a 1-game road trip. Fisher can't hit.
You know, as tight as this game is, you have to like their chances the way they've been rebounding.
They have a pretty good margin in that department, so they've got to continue to hit the boards hard, and it'll pay off for them in the end.
Plenty of space. Pondexter, no good.
You really don't want to see him missing those mid-range shots, but when he's open, he's got to shoot.
Good look. Tries again. And there's the foul on the shot. He'll go to the line for two. And there's the foul against New Orleans.
Nice time to use that foul to stop the layup.
You know, if you can save just 1 point, that foul was the right move.
And he knocks down the first one.
How skilled is Pau Gasol? Not only is he 7 feet, but he's mobile, got long arms, big hands, great ability to score inside, and can also step away and knock down a 17-footer.
Looking at who's out there now for the Hornets. Emeka Okafor is checked in for West. Riza comes in for Quincy Pondexter. And Jared Jack has subbed in for Chris Paul. Both free throws good from Gasol. When you talk about Pau Gasol offensively, he's also a very creative finisher, I think, too, around the basket.
Huge hands. He can palm the ball off the dribble. He can go up one-handed. He's got great length. He can get the ball above defenders. Jazz music right there. Boom! The only thing crazier than him taking that shot is that he actually hit it. Unbelievable.
Oh, stuff.
There's 45 seconds left to play here in the half. That first time out of the game called for New Orleans. And this matchup with the Lakers, it's their first meeting of the season.
And, of course, they're meeting the team that was responsible for dealing them a very painful loss in the first round of the playoffs a year ago.
Steve just talked about their postseason last year, and Clark, I'll bet they're still thinking about how quickly this team bounced them out of the playoffs.
Yeah, you got to believe that, Kevin. I mean, their first chance this season for a little bit of revenge, they're salivating.
And some changes here for the Lakers. Ebanks comes in for Pau Gasol, and it's Brown in for Derek Fisher. Here's Landry. Still looking to get on the scoreboard. Puts the move on. That's good.
That's 10 straight points now coming in that mid-range jump shot area, guys.
Yeah, it is, and they're picking their spots and finding holes in the middle of that defense to get those shots off, and I think that's very good discipline they're showing this year.
But he came away empty there, and that's a shot that should probably go down.
Shot clock and game clock separated by less than 6 seconds. Ariza outside, guarded down by Lamar Odom. Clock at 6. Landry no good.
He thought he made that one.
He sure did. I mean, it was an excellent look. It just didn't go down.
And here's the break. Up the floor. Okafor. The big dunk at the end of the break.
He didn't have to get off the ground very far for that one. The big man with the slam.
Well, he makes up for any lack of athleticism with that tremendous size, Clark.
Yeah, he's not exactly a smooth operator, but what he is powerful. When he gets positioned in the lane, he can go up and get it done.
Lakers ahead. They lead by a bucket.
Sunday Hoops seems like a perfect way to start the week. Welcome to your HP Halftime Report. Out at Staples Center, the Lakers are ahead against the Hornets. You can talk about lights out shooting, but this is out of this world. They simply can't miss out there. Pau Gasol has simply been taking over against the Hornets. He has 8 points, added 3 rebounds as well. Also, a strong first half for New Orleans. They've had some uneven play to start the season, but are still working to add to that win column. Emeka Okafor with a huge impact. After 2, he's got 10 points and is scoring efficiently to boot, making the most of his touches. A couple guys right here you want to lead the charge for the teams as we move on to the second half. And now let's go around the league to catch up on other NBA action. Out at Staples Center, it was the Clippers losing to the Cavs. They couldn't get anything going, it seemed. Eric Gordon, their leading scorer, And another one of the games that went final, Washington ended up with a loss to the Heat over at American Airlines Arena. A bit of a disappointment. They had a chance to get that one. And a look now at the rest of the action from around the NBA. Over at U.S. Airways Center, it was the Suns over the Trailblazers. They ended up being better by 5 in that one. Steve Nash was their top scorer. That'll do it for us here. We'll go back now to Kevin Harlan, Steve Kerr, Clark Kellogg, and Doris Burke for the start of the third quarter.
We have a close ball game on our hands as we get set for the second half of basketball. Here's Kobe.
The Hornets were hit by the injury bug last season as Chris Paul missed some time, and then, of course, losing David West for the year in March. That was painful.
Powell and Bynum filling up the middle. Kobe and Artest are the wingmen, and it's Fisher in at the 1. That's the Laker 5. Gets the bucket. Kobe's got the first bucket of the third here for the Lakers.
Just adds to what has already been a great day for him.
Doesn't it always seem, Clark, like the Hornets get injured with key players at the wrong time?
Well, you go back to last season, Kevin, the West injury was huge. I mean, you would love to see what a fully healthy, rested Hornets squad can do in the playoffs. Hasn't been the case recently.
And the year before, Chris Paul pulled a knee, and it seems like every year there's something.
What an offensive display he's putting on.
And at this point, Steve, you got to put more pressure on him. Bring help and make him move the ball.
Bynum, covered by Okafor. Bynum, no good.
It seems like he tightens up guys when he gets close to the rim, especially with a defender nearby.
For the lead, and there's Ariza. That's good on the assist by Paul. Paul's got his third assist on the night.
Paul is one of the very best at squeezing the orange. I mean, his low turnover rate for a playmaker is fantastic. I mean, it's outstanding. Really does an excellent job with that.
Right back to Paul. He keeps his turnovers right around 2.5 a game. And Steve, if he's going to handle the ball that much, he's got to keep it in his hands. He can't be throwing that all over the floor.
And he usually gets about 2 steals a game, so he negates those turnovers in that area as well.
He does. Steve, quick hands, doesn't he?
Yeah, very quick hands, very strong. And, the thing about the turnovers is the assist to turnover ratio is so good, about 4-to-1. For Paul. So, yeah, if you're a coach, you live with some mistakes with the production that Chris Paul's giving you. I thought Gasol got off to such a fast start last season, but he might have worn down as the season went on. He was asked to play big minutes, especially early when Andrew Bynum was out with the injury.
Kapnám a labdát. Még egy dédelget az fél óráig.
And he ends up missing both free throws. Then, of course, for Paul Gasol in the playoffs, a lot of disappointment with his play, Clark. A game, in fact, or two where he even got booed at the Staples Center.
Yeah, you never like to see that, but he clearly did struggle in the playoffs. And he's extremely gifted, but some have tended to try to question his mental toughness or killer instinct. And I quite honestly think it's unfair. He's got a disposition and demeanor that lends itself to that kind of criticism. But anytime you can perform the way he has, it's impressive. And it actually helps him, the fact that he's got a deferring type of personality to be an ideal number 2 guy for the Lakers, with Kobe Bryant being the obvious lead dog there. So it's a good fit, I think.
That's interesting. Lakers trail by 3. Bynum with it. Pulled the shot on the left, but the bounce goes his way. Bynum's got 6 points.
Well, I love the way they've been attacking inside, Kevin.
All right, guys, they're getting a lot of points in the painted area, not settling for outside shots, and I don't see any reason to change strategy here.
Now a timeout called by New Orleans.
You know, for so long we've seen the Lakers coast into the playoffs, put themselves in a tight spot, and find a way out of it. But in that series versus Dallas in last season's playoffs, they really looked like a tired and overmatched team.
Lamar is checked in for the Lakers. And then for New Orleans, Carl Landry's checked in for West. And it's Bellinelli in for Willie Green. Here's a reason. 8 points for him. The dish now to Paul. Ellen. Here's Landry on the mark from 16 feet out. Landry's got his second bucket. And for the Lakers, Kobe said, Clark, after that series, we've been playing with fire the last 3 years. Now we finally got what we deserve. Steve, that is a very interesting quote. Take it apart for us and delve into it.
Well, I think the Lakers had been to the finals for 3 straight years, and I think they were worn out emotionally. And for a couple of those playoff series over the years, they did play with fire and get away with it. Not last year. Dallas just destroyed them, and I think the Lakers just looked tired, both physically and mentally.
Here's Kobe. 14 points for him. Takes it right up, and he makes good on the way. Kobe's got 6 in the quarter.
And I like his aggressiveness going to the hoop using that height advantage.
Ball outside. He's covered by Fisher. Backing down his Landry. All alone. Rebound by Ron Artest.
So far, he hasn't made much of a contribution at the offensive end. This past season, Monty Williams took over the reins at New Orleans, and he came over from being an assistant under Nate McMillan, and he brought that same steady, intense approach to the Bayou.
New Orleans in the lead, outplayed in the previous game on their schedule, losing to Sacramento.
Yeah, their long-range shooting really deserted them in that game, guys. They couldn't get anything to go from that line.
And that made all the difference in the game. I mean, they clearly tried to use the three-pointer as the primary weapon, but because they weren't falling, it was disastrous.
Landry no good. Back to Monty Williams, and Clark touched on it. Steve, what a dream start for the Hornets under first-year coach Monty Williams last year.
Yeah, they had an excellent season. They had missed the playoffs the year before, but Williams led them to a quick start, and that really established what they wanted to do during the season. They had a nice, solid year. If David West hadn't gotten hurt late in the year, they might have done some damage in the playoffs.
Gasol dishes to Odom. And Okafor sends it back. The Hornets leading by 3.
A winding gap.
And Ariza slams it home. Replay here. Sprite Slam Cam showing it once more.
Yes, indeedy. Boy, I love that one. That's not just any plain dunk. That has some panache to it.
It's an energizer, guys. That is an energizer.
That is, and that will lift the whole team up.
Odom, the pass to Artest. To the paint, Kobe. From about 16. Gasol, no good.
He was just a little bit off with his mechanics there for some reason. I'm not sure why.
The points coming in bunches as we wrap up the third quarter. It's been a good one. Without question, Trevor Ariza displaying his skills today.
That's one thing to get to the rim, and it's another to finish when you get there. I mean, he's done both so far.
Yeah, through the first 3 quarters, I mean, he's done a great job of being able to complete plays at the rim, finishing drives nicely.
Hornets lead by 5.
Tune in this Friday night. Steve Nash and the Phoenix Suns take on Danny Granger and the Indiana Pacers. The new season in the NBA rolls on. Do not miss it.
As the fourth quarter gets rolling here, let's check out our Sprite Spark of the Game, presented by Sprite. Hey, Doris.
Well, Kevin, our spark of the game in this one, the stretch by the Hornets. The changing point in this game was when they got hot in the third quarter and opened things up. They'll look to keep that level of play as we head into the final period.
All right, Doris, thank you. That run was a critical stretch Clark of the game.
It sure was. I mean, once the pilot light was lit, they didn't let up.
Well, offensively, it all came together for them, Clark, and it really allowed them to kind of take control of the game at that point.
So with Paul on the bench, here's the group that Monty Williams has on the floor. Billy Green out there with Jarrett Jack. Then there's Jason Smith. Then it's West. And it's Ariza in at the 3, the small forward. Here's Jack. Guarded by Blake, and Jack kicks it to West. There's the feed to Jack. Down to 5 on the shot clock. Shoots. The shot's good from Smith. Smith's got the first basket as we get going in the fourth for the Hornets. Lakers trail by 7. And here's Kobe for 3. Rebound by Smith.
Én futni akartam, Kobe nem rádobni a faszit.
Here's Jack. Puts it up. Smooth as silk on the finger roll.
Just an unbelievable display of offense here today.
Well, it seems like every shot that goes up finds its way to the hoop. I mean, every player is sharp and on target.
I like that. They went to the three-point line and got an uncontested look there in transition.
Guarded by Blake. Left side West. Here's Green. And Drew Bynum grabs the miss. Bynum's got 3 rebounds now in this one. Baseline try. Little long with the shot, but it drops. Here's Jack. Here's Ariza. A 3-pointer off the mark. The Lakers trade. Last game matchup with the Suns, a tough loss there.
Yeah, they were very soft defensively in that game, guys. I just didn't think they brought the energy and the effort it takes to win in an NBA game.
Well, no critical stops when they needed them. The effort was very pedestrian at best. So you combine those factors and you can't get it done in terms of winning a game.
Back to West, guarded by Blake. West kicks to Jack. 6 to shoot. That's good from Ariza on the assist from Jack. Jack's got his 3rd assist on the night.
His touch has looked much better than it did in the first half.
Blake up top, defended by Jack. It's stolen by Jack. And here we go. Here's Green. Finished off the break. And the Hornets lead by 7.
As soon as they forced that turnover, they really attacked the rim. I like that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I thought that was the highlight of the sequence.
Kobe against Green. Now Kobe again the Lakers.
Guys, he's really shot the ball well. It's definitely not his fault they find themselves trailing in this one.
And West backs in. With the shot. A rebound by the Lakers. Bynum's got his 5th rebound in this one. Pushes up. In Pau Gasol, the bucket on the assist from Andrew Bynum. Bynum's got 3 assists in the game. Now a timeout called by New Orleans. They're leading by 3. 1:53 left to play in the final quarter. And the Lakers with some changes. On our test is checked in for Bynum. Odom comes in for Pau Gasol. And it's Brown in for Mac Arnold. The Hornets also changing it up. Carl Landry's checked in for Jason Smith. And it's Paul in for Jarrett Jack. And let's get this update now from Doris Burke, who's across the way on the sideline.
Guys, over that last break, I listened to Monty Williams address his team. He laid out a plan for them to run on the next possession and then said, but the real key is our defense. This game comes down to whether or not we can get stops. Guys, let's see if they can do exactly that.
And the Lakers call time here. They're trailing by 5. We've got 1:48 left to play here in the fourth.
Nem még váltottam csapatot. Talán lesz arra még idekér is.
Here's Kobe. He's picked up by Ariza. Stolen by Landry.
Ez mi van?
Passes are high-risk passes.
Semmi.
And he finishes at the rack. Now it's a 7-point Hornet lead.
No prettier shot than the finger roll, smooth and beautiful. It's a joy to see.
West with the steal.
Kobe.
It's a surprise to see him struggling to take care of the ball guys after turning it over only once in the first half.
Ariza dishes to Green. On the wing, the Lakers with the rebound. We've got 1:18 left here in the fourth quarter. Artest the pass to Blake. He's picked up by Ariza. And fouled hard that time. He'll get to the line and shoot two. That one is on Ariza. First person.
Hát képviselt is sokat érek a büntetőkkel. Egyrészt egy pontot érek. Abban volt.
And the first of two misses.
De bazd meg, pattan, talán robbanjatok már bazd meg, mert a második után palánk talált. Ja.
So he comes up empty at the line. They can take their time on this possession.
You know, guys, that wouldn't be a bad idea. I mean, give themselves a little break, too.
Catch the breath, you're right. Puts up the baby hook. Landry gets the bucket. They got on this roll a while ago, and they just haven't looked back. There's 57 seconds left in the fourth quarter of this one. Here's Kobe, and the layup is good.
Yeah, going straight to the hoop, attacking the whole way.
Yeah, nice finish. Cap that break off in style.
Now here's Paul. He's guarded closely. Guarded by Blake. On the high post. No good. And the Lakers go with it the other way.
Well, not much they can do at this point.
Nope, playing for pride. Trying to finish strong for pride's sake.
Here's Green, and he commits the intentional foul.
That's his third versus the team's second.
And now they decide to foul intentionally.
Miért kezdődik a taparomát? Nem érik el semmit, hogy így kapnak.
Gets the first. That increases their lead to 6.
Most nem értenénk, amikor már eldobja, de nem menjünk be fel a büntető területre be. Beállítás.
2 for 2. It's a 7-point ball game.
Big foul there. He hits a bunch free throws and adds their lead.
And the Lakers call time here. They're losing by 7. 27 seconds left in the fourth. The Lakers making a switch here. Gasol's checked in.
Persze, nagyon kamerát.
27 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Here's Brown. No luck. Good D by Ariza. Balanced scoring Clark and Steve for him. They're moving it well.
Yeah, you love to see teams share the sugar. Everybody getting a touch, everybody enjoying an opportunity to score. That makes it a lot of fun for everybody.
It sounds better when you say it than watch it. Okay? I like better when you say it. Sharing the sugar. Right, Steve?
Yeah, pass the cream, too. I mean, while you're at it. I mean, this has been something to watch. I mean, just everybody getting involved.
So we see the Hornets get the win here. They came, they saw, they conquered.
Hey, Kevin, to me, any win is a good win.
Well, that'll do it. For Doris Burke, Steve Curry, Clark Kellogg, this is Kevin Harlan saying so long. We'll see you next time. And as we leave, we give you our Jordan Player of the Game, Emeka Okafor.
Way too deep, girl. Make you look deep. Way too deep.
idénre van.
Y'all